Okay, everyone. I know I get very excited and hot and sweaty and all that good stuff. Okay, welcome to Adrian Barker Speaks. And yes, I know that he's handsome. My guest is brave, bold, good looking, and his name is Evan Turk. And I don't know anything about him. All I know is that he was very patient because we are streaming live on Chatter Social. And Kate, thank you for being in the room. If you would like to speak, we would love it. Evan, we're on this app. So we're streaming live on like 3 places on Facebook, 2 places on YouTube, one on LinkedIn, one on X, and live with Chatter Social. Kate, are you able to unmic and say hello?
I am. Hello. I was just sent over by JB to tell you that he's back in the room if you wanted to go in there. If it's not
Let's.
too late.
I could stream live there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that sounds great. So everyone, I'm going to. Oh wait, I don't even think I need to be right back. Be patient with me for 1 second. I'm going to just go into another room. Thank you, Kate, so much. I think this is really exciting. You'll be able to hear from a lot of voices. Evan, this will be an experience you've never seen before. So, okay. So he made me a moderator in the other room?
He said he will when you come back if you're not in there right now.
Oh, okay. If he could do it, I'm going to stop and I'm going to see if I'm in there. Evan, just hold. Okay, hold on. Sorry about this. Let me go in. Let me close this for a second.
I can't hear you anymore.
B affects cancel. Okay, I say I had to redo that again.
Okay,
All righty.
I can hear
Evan,
you
you can
now.
hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay, Evan. So first of all, we're live still, so I'm very excited, you guys. Very excited to have everyone here. Evan is on Adrian Barker Speaks, no prep needed. And when I say I truly don't know who my guest is, I truly don't know who my guest is. I know he's a good looking guy. I see the Esquire and I know enough information that I put in the stream. But Evan, I don't want the focus on me. I'm not looking good today. You are looking great. I just want to show you what it looks like on Chatter. So let's see. Let me go like this so you guys can see this lovely man. All right, let me just show you. This is Chatter Social. So you've got a nice audience here. And guys, if you want to speak, you just unmic, just one at a time. So Evan Turk, welcome to Adrian Barker Speaks. Thank you for your patience. First of all, I really appreciate it. So who are you?
It's a good question. I'm trying to figure that out myself. I'm an attorney. I run a law firm called Turk Law Group. I'm into philanthropy. I also serve as the CEO and founder of a civil liberties 501c3, namely the American Rights Alliance, which is combating a lot of national issues with people who are falsely imprisoned and others who are fearful of speaking out in a society right now that has evolved to or devolved in some ways. And I'm just trying to protect people's civil liberties as founded by our principles in the U.S. Constitution.
So, Attorney Turk, I want to introduce you if Jonathan Bing is available. We're actually live in a room, a very special room called Debate the News. And Jonathan Bing is the owner and the creator. Jonathan, are you available?
Yes, I am actually.
Okay, just want to make sure that you both meet. So, Attorney Turk, please meet Jonathan Bing.
Hi, Jonathan.
And
Nice to
Pleasure's
meet
mine.
you.
Pleasure's all mine.
so I am totally open if anyone wants to ask any questions. Let's go a little deeper into what you were talking about as you're saying about the civil rights. I'd like to can we get an example of what that really looks like so I can understand?
Absolutely. We have a woman by the name of Tina Peters is one of our clients who's in jail right now. She was head of county supervisor of elections that during the 2020 election, they asked her to destroy data which would have breached the federal law, election law. And in the state of Colorado, they demanded that she did it. She backed up the information with a whistleblower, and now she's in jail with an 8-year sentence. So we're trying to get her out of jail. This is completely unconstitutional. Somebody who is trying to protect election integrity shouldn't have an 8-year sentence, should have no sentence whatsoever. 76-year-old woman with no prior criminal history whatsoever. We have a ton of people who have been weaponized because they've been outspoken and now they're either serving time in prison or have civil action, civil warfare, political warfare against them. We have a lot of national cases on that. We're doing a lot of pardon work. We just got a pardon from somebody after the president gave everyone in January 6th a pardon. This one judge decided that that wasn't appropriate and put him back into jail. So we got a full presidential pardon 2 weeks ago. We're just doing a little of everything. We're not a political organization. We are here to help people based on a constitutional principles. And what we're seeing here right now is just unconscionable. And we are here to combat freedom of speech, to protect freedom of speech, combat anyone who's opposed to it. We have no society without that freedom of speech. Without that, we can't be free to do what we need to do to make grievances to the government, to speak out for what we passionately agree with. And even though we may not agree with everybody, we also try to protect those freedoms of speech so that they can say it, just like you and I can say what we want to say.
I can say anything, but not there's a bomb in the airport. Right?
You'll be surprised. Well, I wish it was that easy, but not anymore. We're seeing people who have been weaponized, criminalized by a weaponized system. So it's just really, really incredible. And you see countries like England, where people don't have freedom of speech on social media, Canada as well. If we don't fight it, it's coming here next. So, we can't just take these freedoms lightly because they're slowly taken away from us.
Thank you, Attorney Turk. So so explain to the audience that's listening regarding I saw President Trump's name in your bio and then I saw a Donald Trump Jr.'s names just so that we can understand where they fit in or that you were attorney with them. If you could share that just so that I understand it and the group understands it.
So I work with an attorney named Peter Tickton. Peter Tickton has been practicing law for over 50 years. He went to military school, high school with the president. So Peter says he's his oldest friend. I said, that's because you are his oldest friend. He's known you since high school. And We were able to help and represent the president through Alina Haba, who appointed Peter as local counsel. So we've done a lot of things, and now with the help of Donald Trump Jr. and others, we are able to form this organization in a way and run this organization in a way that is very helpful to spreading the message and to really get what we really need to protect protected so that we have a country to give to our next generation. And I keep saying this is not a political organization. It's not, you don't have to have a Trump philosophy or a conservative Republican philosophy. You have to have an American philosophy and an understanding of what the Constitution meant, what it means, and why it's worthy of being protected.
So, Attorney Turk, as I said, we're live on Chatter Social, and Jonathan Bing is the owner and the creator of Debate the News. And part of what he does is really allowing us and giving us a voice for those that come in to debate. Lovely, and we have both sides coming in. And I'm not the greatest when it comes to these kind of conversations. But my first question is really, is someone finding you, or are you seeing a story on the news and saying, oh, this is someone that we can help? How does the initial contact work?
People are finding us. We do a show on a network, a national network called Real America's Voice. It's called A Case for America. We air that every Saturday at 4 o'clock. It's an hour show where we overview the cases that we're highlighting that are pretty much unconscionable. So that audience finds us. I would imagine there's quite a bit of people that watch that show, and we're never short of work. Unfortunately, there's so much problems that are out there um, that we can never stop 7 days a week. So we're not marketing ourselves. I guess, talking about being on a podcast, I guess this is marketing the charity and one of the reasons why I do it. But yeah, we're not readily marketing ourselves. The cases find us.
Got it. Got it. Have there been more cases in the past, let's say, 5 years?
I mean, our charity has been around for a couple of years now, so um, we really started out to help people in January 6th. Um, if really you understood, or in the audience understood what truly happened, I think most people would be shocked because it's not what you heard on mainstream media. Um, so that's where we started, but we've evolved and we're representing all types of cases, all types of people on both sides of the political aisle. What we're really trying to do is keep America principled in its values based on the U.S. Constitution. I keep saying that, but it's really our core mission is we have this amazing freedom, but it's being taken away from us, and it's scary. We have people who, one case that we're working on, over $1 billion of his hard-earned business assets were taken, and it went up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said release those assets, and then they took it under another false pretense, and this guy can't really fight because he's in jail with no assets. Um, it's anti-capitalism, it's anti-America. And we all have this American dream, and still, this is the best country to make it. But we shouldn't fear becoming successful and having imprisonment as an outcome for being a capitalist. I mean, it's not like
Adrian, are
these
we allowed to
people
ask
don't.
questions?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was going to, sorry, Attorney Turk, finish what you're saying, and then
Yeah, please.
Jonathan Bing would like to come in. Oh, Jonathan, take the
No,
mic.
Jonathan, I could talk forever, so please interrupt. Ask me a question.
Okay, no, you said this. The country is devolving, and your opening statements. Can you give us a bit more information on how this country is devolving?
Yeah, where freedom of speech is no longer as free as it once was. We have a media that if you say anything, you're going to be taken off a platform. You have take the 2016 election where, or 2020 election where um, the New York Post had evidence to support Hunter Biden's laptop, and the Department of Justice basically eliminated that from happening, and calling it false news. And anyone who actually reported it on any social media platform was deplatformed. I mean that's incredibly political, anti-American, anti-Constitution, anti the Constitution, against everything that we believe in. And by the way, we found out that that information was true. It was accurate, and they knew it, but you couldn't
It
explain it.
wasn't quite accurate, but can I ask you a question? How
It
you feel
was
about the
wait.
Epstein
It
files?
was completely accurate because it was the
No,
Biden.
it was a
It was
lot
the
of this
Biden
stuff
Love
that was
House.
no, but a lot of this stuff had been messed with at that so-called computer shop that they had, and the way they did it was totally illegal. But my question to you is, how
Oh,
do you feel
wait.
about?
I can't answer a question when you just made a blanket statement that I have no idea what you're saying. So, if Jonathan,
Well,
please share me, enlighten
let's
me.
just no. There's two. But what I'm saying is that laptop that we did not ever find out that everything on there was true. We know a lot of stuff was AI generated on there. When
No,
him,
we
they were
don't.
showing him
Yeah,
just
we don't. Actually, that all of
where's the
that it
proof?
came out. It's
What proof
true.
do you
The
have?
entire laptop.
What proof did you had that everything on that laptop was true?
The Department of Justice came clean with it and said it was true and it was accurate,
I,
and they retracted.
what depart?
I mean,
Which Department of Justice?
let me share with you, and this is the problem, and you're entitled to your freedom of speech, Jonathan, really are. But
It's not
when I'm
Jonathan.
trying
It's
to
not
Oh, this
give
Jonathan,
is
by the way.
true.
you,
That's not Jonathan. That wasn't me.
oh,
It's not
I'm
Jonathan.
sorry. I'm sorry.
It's
I
okay.
don't know
It's
your name.
okay.
Is all I'm doing is looking at myself here, so I don't see anybody, or I don't know
You're
anyone
fine.
I'm
You're
speaking with.
fine.
But let's scratch the laptop because there's neither here nor there, right? Let's talk about what's going on right now in this country. How do you feel about the Epstein files and the cover up that's going on with these things?
I think it's crazy. I don't understand it at all. And I don't understand why the information's not being released now, and I don't understand why it wasn't released under the prior administration. And
Well, we
it
know why
really
it wasn't
makes you
released under
question
the prior. We know why it
why.
wasn't released under prior administration because it was appeals going on, and you can't release that stuff during an appeal because it could hurt the case or whatever. But right now, while Trump had the ability, just say Biden could have did it. Okay, he was wrong for not doing it. Trump got the ability. Him and his DOJ got the ability to make it right. Why are they fighting tooth and nail to keep this stuff from being released? Do you think they're covering up for other people, or Trump is covering up for himself?
I don't think Trump is covering up for anybody. He told everybody, release the information. I don't know why the people in Congress are fighting it tooth and nail. I mean, there are certain congressmen, whether they're Republicans or Democrats. I mean, some happen to be Republicans, and makes you question all of that. I'm not here to support what happened to the Epstein case, and I'm not here to be political and say, you know what? If this looks bad against one side, then let's have a different answer than if it looks bad to the other side. I'm trying to be apolitical here. I do not know why the Epstein file hasn't been completely released, and it scares me and it shocks me. And that's what we do as a charity. We have a right to get information, right? We have a right to know what's going on. And at the highest levels, why isn't that information being
I,
released? Why? Since we know certain people that were there on the Epstein plane. Take Bill Clinton was there 27 times, I
Mhm.
believe. Why isn't there
He
even
was
an
at Donald Trump.
official
He
statement?
was at Donald Trump. He was at Donald Trump wedding. It seemed like him and Donald Trump were really close friends at one point. But my
Who's
thing
that?
is, it was all Epstein and Donald Trump. They were really close friends. Epstein was at his wedding, and it seemed like they was very fond of each other at one point. My thing is, it was all Republicans that was fighting against. 100% of the Democrats voted to release them, but
Yeah, I
we only
mean,
had, I think,
I
at
don't.
one point only four. I think only four Republicans voted to release it. The other ones didn't.
No, I think
That's
four
that's a
voted to
red
not.
flag, right?
No, I think four voted to not release them, and the rest did. And
No,
I
no,
agree
no,
with
no,
you.
no, 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 no. Absolutely. Hold on. Like you told me, we can't just run past that point. It was only
Yeah, I'll
four.
look it up.
I
Let me
think
look at
Marjorie
it
Taylor,
right.
yeah,
Let me look it
Marjorie
up right
Taylor Greene
now.
was the lead in that effort, and she couldn't get one more. I think they needed five, and she could only get four. If they would have got five, it could have been released. My numbers might be off by one or two, but the
Yeah, let me
majority of the
look. I'll look
Republicans
it up
voted
right
for it.
now. How many
Hmm.
Attorney,
Republicans blocked the Epstein files?
No, well,
Um,
if I can jump in, if you recall, the reason that the House was out of session was because Michael Johnson kept them out because that gave the final vote that was needed in order to go ahead and have the vote. So, that definitely is incorrect, and he's correct. There was only four Republicans supporting that bill initially until Trump finally felt he had nowhere to go, and he said, "Hey, you know what? Go ahead and vote for it." So he's absolutely 100% correct in that assertion. Also, you did make that
I'm
statement where you
sorry.
said that.
I'm sorry. You're saying 100%. This is the problem we have when we discuss these things. Somebody says it's 100% correct, therefore it's 100% correct without fact checking it and without knowing what the truth is. So I can't just allow that to happen without fact checking it, because I
Okay,
don't think
good.
it's
You're more than welcome to
completely
fact check it.
accurate. But
Yeah,
if you
fact
want
check
to
it.
make a
We
point,
completely talk about this every day. It only take you like 10 seconds to fact check it.
I'm fact checking it now. It's taking more than 10 seconds, and that's not true. Over 300 unique instances, but no single tally exceeds 211 House votes to block it. Who blocked it? Democrats and Republicans. Democrats pushed hardest for release, but held minority status, so they couldn't force votes. So some ex posts claim Democrats block Republican efforts, but evidence shows GOP majorities control the blocks in Congress. Current
Thank you.
status with the bill signed. I mean, I don't see four people, a majority. With the bill signed, full release is imminent. Partial docs already show Epstein ties to figure across parties. For example, Bill Clinton mentioned 50 times, but now no new charges. No evidence implicates Trump in crimes despite speculation. I mean, so a lot of what we were just discussing is not factual. It's what media site you hear and how the news you want to hear it to be disclosed and
But nothing
dispersed.
contradicted. Nothing.
Yeah,
Sir,
yeah,
nothing
four
contradicted. Nothing
people.
contradicted what we
I
just
don't
said.
see I don't see four people, all but four people, all but four
So you must not
Republicans.
keep up with the news a lot. You don't remember it was Marjorie Taylor Greene. I can't remember the three. I'll get the names in a minute. But early on, that's why
Yeah,
she was
please
showing up
do.
right before Charlie Kirk got killed. She was leading the way. If they would have got five Republicans, they would have had enough votes to release them. They could only get four. They couldn't get
But
that one
again,
person. And then hold on one second. And then when they got I can't remember the woman name. She won, and Mike Johnson
Arizona.
refused in Arizona. He refused to swear in because her vote would have got them released, and he went weeks without swearing her in, and and it went through the shutdown, and they finally swore
I
in,
don't
and they
know. I don't
finally
know. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know who he is.
that's convenient.
So I'm
And
I
Mike,
don't
Mike
know
sorry.
who
I'm
Mike
sorry.
Johnson,
It's
the
convenient. Mike
Speaker of the House,
Johnson.
Mike
wait, wait,
Johnson.
wait. Two.
Okay. So
I
what
just
did
want to
Mike
be clear.
Johnson do?
Yeah, just don't let's not talk over each other. Attorney Turk is a guest of mine on Adrian Barker Speaks. We're live on the podcast and we are streaming out to about 10 locations. So just when you speak, just let it be a conversation. We won't talk over each other, and then introduce yourself too. Two's name is actually TOO. That's how he goes on with this app, and we all love him. But two, just and I'm not even sure too if you were here when Evan Turk, the attorney, introduce himself and what he actually does. So I'll finish the conversation, and then Evan, maybe we could just do a quick reset so you could
I'm
share
good. I'm
again.
good. I bow out. I didn't know what type of. I didn't know what type it is. I'm good. I bow out. I
No,
ain't
you're
got. I don't know but one way. I go 100% or none at all. I'm sorry. I didn't know this was being broadcast out.
No, no, no. We love your passion. I think that's great. And I think Attorney Turk doesn't mind. It's just, it can be confusing sometimes. But Jonathan, did you have other questions regarding exactly, what Attorney Turk actually does when it
No,
comes?
not at all. It's he is clear. I mean, and the truth can be confusing at times. So, and I get it. So I'm going to meet up a little bit as well.
So Attorney Turk, what you're on the podcast, and I'm so thrilled that you said yes. I usually do business podcasts, so I don't really talk politics. I on DTN, it's very rare that I speak
Mhm.
up. But my question to you is what so you're on the podcast. What are you hoping to achieve? Like what is our goal? What how can we help you?
I just like to get our name out there. I don't mind having debates with anybody. As
Good.
long as it's respectful, I don't want to be disrespectful to anyone else. And I like to really learn about other opinions because we all can be wrong, right? But to answer your question is, I just want to open um, the charity up to all people of all different opinions because we're not a conservative or Republican driven 501c3. We're not political, we're apolitical. We're just trying to protect what I think all of us could agree on is the First Amendment, the freedom of speech. Shouldn't be based upon just what you agree with, but it should be, most protected in the things that you disagree most with. Because if we don't have an open discourse and a public discourse of conversation, then we no longer have a free country, and we don't have a country which, you know, has stood the test of time since the beginning. But free speech also allows us to evolve to get rid of things that we were against. But the thing that we should never ever take away is our ability to address our opinions, even if we're wrong.
I love that, Attorney Turk. And I think you would actually enjoy the room, the Debate the News, Chatter Social. So we're live on Chatter Social. I'll send you the link for the listeners, CHATTER Social. You can find it in your app store. You can look for the website, chattersocial.io. And that's exactly what we do every single night is really have some fantastic discussions. So how are you raising the funds for this 501c3?
Getting the word out. We have certain donors that are really generous, have been considerate, and we also, on each of the cases that we have been working on, that we raised money. We're blessed to have people write articles about us, and that brings attention to it. And we also do fundraisers, calls, networks, you name it, we're doing it. Because when you have somebody who's behind bars or somebody who you would be amazed that they're being either criminalized for something that's not criminal whatsoever, or their First Amendment rights are being taken away and they can't speak up. It gets really expensive when you need to hire legal representation, but it is critically important. So what we
You
do,
know,
like,
Go ahead, Jonathan.
no, I would say I agree with him. Freedom of speech should never, ever, ever be that's a right that's in the Constitution. I think freedom of speech leads to is the cornerstone of all of our rights, especially in that First Amendment, the freedom to assemble, protest, and all that other stuff that comes along with freedom of the press, all that. But so with that being said, how do you feel about what happened to Jimmy Kimmel?
see, I don't like the fact. I mean, I think what Jimmy Kimmel said was despicable. But I don't think he should have been taken off his platform, and that's really what we are here to protect. And I mean, I may not be the biggest Jimmy Kimmel fan. I knew Charlie Kirk personally. I was on the board of Turning Point USA. Charlie would give me calls asking me for advice from time to time, which was amazing because this guy was 17 years younger than me, and I looked up to him. So I have skin in the game because I knew Charlie on a personal level, but I don't think that Jimmy Kimmel, although what he said was completely inappropriate.
What exactly? What exactly is inappropriate? He just said that Donald. He played a clip where Donald Trump started speaking about um, something else, the building, and over there. He didn't speak. In fact, he actually condemned the violence, and he actually sent his condolences and everything to the Kirk family. And all he did was use a video of Trump showing Trump. When the reporter asked about Charlie Kirk, and Charlie Trump acknowledged it briefly and then started speaking about something else. What was despicable about that? He didn't say anything despicable. I'm
He
still trying to.
was blaming the MAGA movement for the cause of the assassination. That was one of them.
That's incorrect. That's
Um,
incorrect. He did not. We can
here,
play the video right now.
here. Yeah, I'll get it. What did Jimmy Kimmel? I'll write right now. What did Jimmy Kimmel say? Because rather than argue, we could get this information really quickly. Kimmel say about Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, we're not arguing. We're having a discussion.
No, I understand that, but I want to get facts are important because when people say that didn't happen, the listening audience is not going to really understand what happened.
Yeah.
He said it was on how Trump's allies allegedly exploited the tragedy for political gain. He later defended them as intentionally and maliciously characterized by critics. He also said, one second.
No, we're talking about you're talking about. No, I'm talking about in the incident that led up to that, because he
Yeah.
said plenty about it afterwards. He said plenty about the right after that. Okay, after they led the attack on him. But what did he say in that moment to cause the outrage? Let's facts matter, right? And context
Yeah,
matters as well.
exactly. I agree with both of those
Hey, guys,
statements. What?
and 1 second, guys. Adrian said that we're allowed to ask questions. If anyone else wants to jump and ask a question, please. Just
I do. I do. I found it interesting. I was reading an article this afternoon. It talked about a guy from Turning Point saying that every new attack aimed at Pete Hegseth makes me want another narco drug boat blown up and sent to the bottom of the ocean. I
Okay.
think. So go ahead.
All right, so
You were
let me
going.
stop because I think that type of statements is completely deplorable, and it's just something that I don't even
But
understand why
so
people
so
open their
then
mouths.
here's a but you
But let
brought
me
up
just
Turning
get
Point.
back. Let me get back to
Wait.
what was
Let
asked.
me finish it. Can I finish my statement says that
Yeah.
Turning Point USA spokesman Andrew Calvet posted that Thursday on X. So when is free speech okay and when is it not? And it's
Okay, so
coming when we talk about the rhetoric that was said about Kimmel, it was nowhere near what this guy just said from Turning Point. From an official from Turning Point said that, and has been quoted in an article about defending Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense actually turning a turtle with a rocket launcher thing on his personal stuff to say, hey, look, we can blow these people up, whoever we want. That's crazy to me.
all right, so
Okay,
let
OG,
me
let's have Attorney Turk answer.
let
Go
me
ahead,
address
Attorney
this.
Turk.
First of all, what I was saying about Jimmy Kimmel, I was correct. It said he implied the shooter, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. He said that he had emerging far right ties in the initial reports, and that's what was despicable, that he was trying to blame the shooting on the MAGA movement and on conservatives, and that's what got people infuriated in the fact that here is a guy, Charlie Kirk, that got assassinated for what? For freedom of speech. He was an evangelical Christian. People said that he was sexist. He wasn't sexist. He just followed his faith and he preached everything in his faith. And I'll get to your question in a second. I just want to address this first because it's really important, because it's really what the core of what we're about is they said that he was racist because they said he said something about Martin Luther King. And if you look and peel the layers off over, he called Martin Luther King out because he said that there were a lot of women in Martin Luther King's presence that were being exploited sexually, and and he was not even a faithful man to his spouse. So that was misconstrued completely to say that he was racist. I mean, I knew the guy. There was not a racial bone in his body. But getting back to the spokesperson for Turning Point USA, I don't know who this person is. So if Turning Point has in every university, they have a chapter, and there's probably about 200 plus students in each of those chapters. So if you take that as a whole and multiply that out, you have probably over 100,000 people that can be labeled as a Turning Point representative. You can't control that many viewpoints, and there are going to be people who say things that are not in complete contrast with what Charlie stood for and what Turning Point stood for and stands for. So I don't think that statement is anything in line with the values of Turning Point USA and the people that I know that know very closely with the organization itself and why it was founded. So I don't want to spew out misinformation based upon something that this is the first time I heard it. I don't know if it's accurate. I don't know who this person is. But I do know that when you have over 100,000 people that could be labeled as an agent of Turning Point because all they have to do is have a membership into one of their school chapters. I mean, you could find that in every single organization. I don't think that is the direction we should go because we'll never ever actually have an understanding because we'll be spewing misinformation out there because we have bias agendas. We focus in on aligning our bias, all of us, including me. And that's why freedom of speech is so important, is let me understand the other side's viewpoint because let me find out why I am wrong. And quite honestly, I am wrong often, but I'm willing to
Yeah,
accept that.
because you're a little bit wrong about Charlie Kirk because he had a lot of bigoted and racist statement outside of what you just said. Because that ain't exactly that's not the only thing he said about Martin Luther King. He said he shouldn't have a holiday. He said a lot of things. Do you agree or disagree that he made a lot of bigoted and racist statements?
I have not heard a
Charlie Kirk.
single bigoted or racist thing that he said. Read the context of what he said about Martin Luther King because I wanted to know. I think that he just followed I know the core of me knows that he followed the evangelical Christian Bible to its core, and he did not have a racist bone in his body. And it's funny because I
I
don't
have
know if you
something to
know.
say when you're done.
Yeah. I don't know if you know who
I want to
Candace
get
Owens is.
Wait, you guys. We are live on. We are live not only just on Chatter Social, but 10 platforms. Attorney Turk is my guest on Adrian Barker Speaks. I had no idea who he is because I don't prep, so there's no fluff. So one at a time, and then we're not
can,
going to argue. So two.
Adrian, am I
Uh,
allowed to finish? Because there
uh,
was a conversation that he was finishing up, and I just wanted to
sure.
go
That
back.
Can he
sure.
can he finish? Can he finish explaining about why Charlie Kirk ain't racist? He don't have a racist bone in his body.
hmm I mean, I've known him personally. One of the things that I think around 2011 or 2012, I went to Dallas. They had an event for Turning Point. This is right when I got started into Turning Point USA. And I got to be backstage with Charlie. It was a women's event. And he was looking out at the audience, and there was probably, I'm guessing, maybe, let's say, 15,000 people in the audience. It was a big convention, and the convention hall that was hosting it right by the airport. And I said to Charlie, I said, the one thing you really have to focus in on is look at this audience. What do you notice here? Um, and I said, joking, but with truth is that if we had to have crayons to color this, we would only need the lightest shades of the rainbow. And we need diversity. If you're a conservative organization, you really need to capture everyone. And we had a nice conversation about what he's doing and what he's trying to accomplish and how he feels. We just had a personal conversation. So I got a good understanding of his heart right then and there. And then the next couple of weeks, there was another event in West Palm Beach, and there was a dinner, and I got invited, and sitting next to me was Candace Owens. And that's when he hired Candace Owens, who I'm not a big Candace Owens fan. I think what she's saying about Judaism and Israel is completely inappropriate and unconscionable. But at the time, it was him listening and realizing that we do need, he does, Turning Point needs diversity. And they have, organizations within the organization for diversity. And they have, not only do they have women's events, they have events for minorities, they have a black um, annual convention. I mean, they do a lot to capture diversity. But I think people take him out of context, and I cannot imagine somebody who I knew quite personally. I just didn't see an ounce of racism in his body. And people take what he said for being evangelical more so out of context to support a position. And one of the things that's really challenging for me is to have open dialogue where every time you have a disagreement, the other side is going to call you racist. And it just really devalues the conversation because you could have ideas that may not be supportive of one group or another, but that doesn't not necessarily make you racist. I mean, you could call out some truths in certain situations, which he did for all types of faith and race and everything else. But
Even the
he
pilots
didn't
too,
do
right?
it with what?
Even the
I'm sorry.
pilots,
I'm
the
sorry,
black
I didn't hear.
pilots, the black
I
pilots that he talked about.
the
Yeah, this
what
go ahead.
United Airlines are you? I don't know what he said, but I assume you're talking about when United Airlines decided to use DEI in their hiring policy and focus in on getting not the best pilots, but the best pilots who happen to be either women or black. I think that's probably what you're referring to,
It wasn't
correct?
black. It wasn't just black because no, it wasn't just black. It was all. It was Asians. It was every Hispanic. It was everyone. So you can't say black. It wasn't just black. That's a
Okay.
fallacy. That's a misconception that was out there. It
No,
was a
I just
very
said
ambitious.
I'm talking more about, I assume it was more about DEI than anything, because he wasn't a
You
proponent
do
of
know that
DEI.
they still had to pass the same test, right? They didn't lower test requirements. They just went out and recruited different people, but you still had to have the same requirements. So it didn't make you
No,
less safe.
no,
Yes.
that's not true. That's not true. What they said
Okay.
was that they're going to hire X amount of people. So what that meant was they're not going to get the best people. They were going to get the best people that based on racism and based on,
That's not true.
um, yeah, that's look it up. That's exactly what they said. United
So
Airlines. We
Attorney
need
Kirk,
to hire
Attorney Kirk.
80% of people that aren't white males. I mean, that's
Hey, Attorney Kirk, this is OG James. So when we
mhm.
deal with aviation, you're still talking about ATP certification through the FAA. So when you're looking at that, but I wanted to slide back because I think I think you're familiar with the fact that Wheaton College is an evangelical university. I'm an alum of Wheaton College, but I'm also a black man that grew up on the west side of Chicago.
Mhm.
Now, when you spoke about being evangelicals, you're familiar with the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verses 1 through 7, where it starts talking about judge not lest you be judged. And when you sat there and you talked about, even if we're not dealing with race, when you talked about how he judged Martin Luther King according to certain actions that he did, are we not expressly kind of told not to do that. That's not part of love, to judge folks like that. Let them know you by your love, not by judgment. If you're an evangelical, should you be judging? Was Charlie Kirk, or are you correct in judging people the way that you looked at him and the way that he talked about Martin Luther King? Is that an inappropriate thing to do for an evangelical Christian?
I'm not an evangelical. I do not know that to be true. And what I am saying about what he said about Martin Luther King, I'm referencing it from my memory, but I can go back and look at exactly what he said. So, like, again, you're taking what I said, it might be 80% accurate because it's coming from my recollection, not from exactly what came out of his mouth. But if you took what came out of his mouth and said, exactly what came, and I could look it up if you want, and maybe we could have a discussion about that. But I'm just paraphrasing what he was saying
So
from my
here's what
recollection.
came out of your mouth. What came out of your mouth was that you questioned the qualifications of people that have to pass an FAA stringent certification with more than 20. They probably have more than 2,500 flight hours before they get behind a major airline like United or American, right? Are you familiar with that? And if you're not, then why are you talking about it? You made that comment. And even I'm not talking about the exactism. I asked you not to judge. I said, if he, let's change it the way I said it. If he said it,
OG, 1 second. Let's remember he's a guest here. Okay.
No, look, one of the things that I appreciate in this conversation is heated conversations of people who disagree with me or question me, because at the end of the day, I'm going to have to know my facts better, and so that I could support arguments with people who have the opposing side. It's easy when you have conversations with people who just are yes people because you're their friends and they agree with you and they say you're right, you're right, you're right, but they don't challenge your thinking. But it's much more beneficial to have somebody who completely challenges everything I say, because words do matter. So I do not want to mislead or misconstrue an audience based upon a recollection of what was done, what Charlie said, or about the FAA. My whole point, from my recollection, is that I don't honestly care what the color or the race or the religion or the gender of the pilot. I don't think that has anything to do with putting the best pilot, hiring the most qualified pilot. But that should not, race should not be a deciding factor in that. You should look at who is the most qualified. Now, all things being equal, yes, we could look at other other factors. I do believe that one of the reasons this country is better than any other country, and I really do believe that, is that we have diversity of opinions and we have diversity of thoughts and we have the freedom to share that. And when we go to war, when 9/11 occurred, that was the closest we were as a country. Nobody cared who their neighbor was, what church they belonged to, or gender, race. We were all Americans, and we forget that, because in this country, for some reason, a lot of the media, especially the sensationalized media, they just factor in splitting us up and putting us in groups and categories and this and that. And we can't get along because everybody has a different perspective and we have to exploit those perspectives, and everyone has to come from a sense that of wrong, being wrong. I'm Jewish, so I don't truly understand the evangelical philosophy. I just understand the people behind it, and their core heart and their message. I don't care if they're what their religion is. It's just, as long as you're a good person, um, and open-minded in a sense, to make me feel that you may not agree with me or my faith, but you'll respect me just like I will respect you. And I don't think you really need to know and quote the Bible to know in the core of all of us is a soul, and that soul of of righteousness is based upon being good to other people, being concerned, and not judgmental, and realize that as you get older, 90% of what you really thought you knew, you realize you don't know. I mean, the older I get, the more I realize, the less I know. And it's that's why I love these conversations because put me to the fire. Tell me what I'm saying is wrong because if I just yes to death, then I really have no purpose because I'm not going to evolve as a human being. I mean, as a society, we all changed over the last 20 years alone. I mean, one of the things I keep saying, 20 years ago, it was, I think it was the Defense of Marriage Act. It was Bill Clinton, right? That marriage was between a male and a female. And, that was the consensus on both left and right. We have evolved tremendously from that. So, without free speech and, the ability to share what we think, we really don't have a country. So, I may think about aviation one way because from what I want is maybe a little different than what you want. But that doesn't mean you're right and I'm wrong or vice versa. It means that we should have a debate about it, a discussion about it. And what Charlie Kirk did best was he would have these debates and he would go into the lion's den and say, tell me why I'm wrong. Um, Now, whether or not he ever changed his ways, I don't recall. But I can tell you for me, things that I thought I knew in the 20s that I was so, for, I have a different viewpoint in my late 40s now. So, um, but if we take away our ability to share and convey that message to one another, we really don't have the ability to grow and expand as a nation or as an individual. And it's funny, as I keep saying, I'm in my late 40s. I have kids that are 12 and 13, and sometimes, as much as I think I know more, I know best, they prove me I'm wrong. I mean, it doesn't matter how old you are; it just matters how you're willing to take on an argument, look at it from all different avenues, and not be so closed-minded to think that there's only one way to answer that issue, and that you're always going to be right.
Hmm. Attorney Turk, I have a question. I'm going to put my hand up. First of all, thank you so much, and thank you for your time. Please let me know how much time you have available. Uh, I do you have another 10 minutes?
Yeah, I have 10 minutes. I have a 4:30 call to go on. It's
Okay,
4:05
okay,
my time.
okay. Very, very good. Oh, I'm on the East Coast in Daytona Beach. So, Attorney Turk, what about the J6ers? Are you representing any of them in the cases that were taking place?
Yeah, we got a pardon by a pardon from one of these J6ers. His name is Dan Wilson. We helped him. So Dan Wilson got released after Trump initiated the full pardon. And one of the things that we have to take a step back in, and I don't think that people realize how sick and deranged this could be. So whether or not you're on one side or the other side of J6, I could tell you a lot, but we don't have enough time so that you at least understand my perspective on this, okay? But with that being said, you have people who they knew where they're gonna they were already talking to the DOJ and to their lawyers, and they knew that they were gonna have to surrender at some point. And we had somebody who we work very closely with. His name was Trennis Evans. He was a part of the charity. Now he's an advisor to the charity, and he walked through the Capitol building with a megaphone and a bottle of fire whiskey or Fireball. And he was talking to the authorities. He had an attorney, and rather than him getting arrested like a person who was not a risk of leaving the country with father of two, a husband, a family-oriented individual, very passionate about his country, our country, and he ended up having scores of police raiding his house with guns, with lasers focused on his children, treated him like he was an animal, um, rather than have him just self-surrender, which he would have been willing to do, and they could have easily. It's not a good use of resources. But this is not the America that we cherish. This is a authoritarian regime. So one of the things that we realize is that this was a politicized situation. Any which way you want to look at it, you may be against it, but it was politicized. And it was not an insurrection by the textbook definition. So yeah, we do represent a lot of people. One of them is this guy, Dan Wilson. So after he got pardoned, when they did one of those raids on his house, they found a gun in his house that was unauthorized. Don't support that, don't promote it. But it was based upon this raid, which should not have happened in the first place. And the judge refused to let him out until we had an unconditional pardon, the second pardon for the same situation. A lot of people who, I'm not condoning walking through the Capitol building on January 6th, but went there without a malicious intent, without a thought that they were overthrowing the government. A lot that the public is unaware of, but a lot of the people, the majority of the people who walked through there, were thinking that they were just protesting, just peacefully protesting, and all of a sudden their livelihood has been taken away from them. They can't seek employment. Everything that they've known is taken away. They can't even open a bank account at certain banks. They were ostracized in their communities. They can't seek normal wages anymore. And just a lot of things that just don't add up. You have someone by the name of Ashley Babbitt who got shot, from what it looks like. It was a police officer, but we know that, but I mean, there's a lot of information that's just a little questionable, so I don't want to misstate. But why did she lose her life for protesting? She didn't have a weapon, she didn't have anything, but where's the outrage there? There is none. A lot of things happened that day, and a lot of things that we don't have answers to. And so what we're trying to do is to understand this so it doesn't happen again. So people, they have due process. There were people there that were there behind bars for months before they were even charged for a crime. There was somebody who wasn't even in the Capitol building that we're helping out, that he was with a reporter from, trying to think of it, it was Rolling Stone magazine, I believe. And they got him for trespassing because he crossed a barrier unaware. They put him in solitary confinement for 17 days. I mean, that's not America. That's not freedom. I mean, and these are the people that we're trying to protect and to get them back to society. And unfortunately, this is a side that people don't know, because people's political aggression, and I say that correctly, political aggression. They believe what they want to believe, and they have so much animosity towards the other side that they're not willing to even understand that the other side has a perspective, and that person might be a friend under a different situation. I mean,
Do you
it's
feel
just
like
not.
all the Gen 6 people was treated unfairly? Is
I
that
think
your?
the mid. I think the majority of them, but there were bad seeds. I think there were bad people. I think, like in any protest or any type of situation like that. There are people there that I don't condone at all, but two wrongs don't make a right either.
You think if Ashley Babbitt would have complied, that she would still be living today?
Have you? I don't think that she really was not compliant. I've seen the video. It's just looked like she was just shot randomly. Like it made no sense,
No,
and she was no threat.
it must be two videos. It must be two videos out there because she was warned several times and she kept going. And when she stuck her head through that thing where all the senators and congressmen were, that's when she was shot. But she was warned several times to stop, and she wouldn't stop. She
Yeah,
like she
no,
had blood on.
there are other videos that I don't know why they haven't been publicized, but if you've seen them, you would understand my perspective. But I really appreciate talking to you because you challenge everything I say, and rightfully so. So thank you. But I don't think she should have. She wasn't a threat, imminent harm to anybody, which would warrant justify losing your life. Well, was she making a wise decision at that moment? I wouldn't say that she was, but I don't think you know, you should have lost your life. Neither should have George Floyd lost his life. But at the same time, you don't want to take away the death of somebody by justifying the overreach or the stupidity of the law enforcement officer for taking that life. And I don't think neither of those lives should have been lost under those situations.
I think it
So
was
thank
lucky that more people didn't get killed that day, besides the police officer that died and the ones that were brutalized. But it's
There were
amazing
more.
that
There were, I
more
think, five
people.
or six. There were 5 or 6 people that I think. I'm sorry, I don't want to misquote. It might be 3 or 4 people, but there are other people that lost their lives there that nobody discusses, and it's wrong. But at the
You
same
talking about
time,
protesters, or are you talking about? Are you talking about protesters?
I'm talking about protesters
All right.
and law enforcement as well. And the people who got characterized as losing their life as law enforcement. One person 2 days later had a heart attack, but they put him in the list of people who lost their life to create the narrative that they wanted. And I'm not trying to support one political ideology over the next. I just think that we have been so split as a nation right now that it's hard to support something that doesn't support our political viewpoint. So everybody who's watching or watched January 6th, if you find out that they're on the right, they're going to say this was complete nonsense, and if they're on the left, they think the opposite. But I'm just trying to get back to decency and civility and unity. I mean, I think this country, we were never so close as a nation as we were after 9/11. And then we were just as close probably when Obama got into office. And we are nowhere as close as, those times. And I think it's a shame. It really is.
So, Attorney Turk, thank you so much for being here. Thank you what I'd like to do is ask you to share how we can help you. I absolutely believe in our freedom to speak. I appreciate everyone on Chatter Social and Jonathan Bing, especially for allowing us to host this live in the room. Again, it was unexpected. And I know that you need a few more minutes before you go to your next meeting, but we'd love to have you on Chatter Social. And it is a free app. And maybe you can use this sometimes when you're looking to figure out like what the jurors are going to think or what someone to debate. You'll have
Yeah.
plenty of both sides. In
No,
the meantime, how can we help you?
Well, first of all, my charity is the American Rights Alliance. You look up americanrightsalliance.org. We're a 501(c)(3). We're not, I keep saying this, we're not politically driven to just go and address one side or the other. We want a country that is united and has the ability to speak freely, not be told what to speak, and to, you know, be controlled to share just one opinion. I love the audience. I love the conversation today. I wasn't expecting this at all. Just like you going on this. My staff puts me in front of these audiences, and sometimes I like to go in them cold, and sometimes I'm playing softball. But today I feel like I was in a boxing ring, and I enjoyed it. So I appreciate the diversity of opinion, and I appreciate the civility of it as well. And the knowledge base of those who went and spoke from the other side. So I thank the audience for putting me up to a challenge that I wasn't expecting. So I appreciate everyone's time. Unfortunately, I have to get to another meeting in 13 minutes, but thank you again.
Thank you so
It was
much.
great speaking with you too.
Thank you too.
No, I was
Thank
Yeah,
you
it
for
going to say,
really
everyone.
was.
it was great speaking to you, Attorney Turk. I think you should come back on here. Maybe we have very spirited debates. I think you'll like it. You'll learn, and we can learn from you. But we definitely need more people from with different perspectives. So I think you
Yeah,
should download the app and come into this debate the news and wrestle with
yeah.
us sometime, man. That'd be
I
great.
think I think I have to. It's only going to make me a stronger person. And if I practice what I preach, this is really where I need to go. I need to be challenged, not just by yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, but people who say, no, sir, you're wrong. And let me show you why you're wrong. So I appreciate all of you and I look forward to doing this again.
You got
You
to pull up,
definitely are
man.
brave.
They
You
make
definitely
they
are. Oh, go ahead, Dee.
no, my bad. Go ahead. I was about to say
So
they make their own law up in here, so we need
that's
somebody to
funny.
know the real stuff.
Yes, Evan,
No,
you'll have
no,
all the
no.
information. Jonathan, go ahead. You have the
Actually,
last word.
no. I enjoyed them being here. That's all, and definitely different perspective. We have Cindy Stumple here as well. She was here, and I don't know if she's still here, but yeah. Oh, Cindy is here.
I'm sorry I missed it. I would have been on the right side of this conversation, as we know. But
I
I
needed
actually tried to
we
get
mean
somebody.
it was you called the last moment.
I actually reached out to Grant Cardone. I think he's gonna try. He was gonna try to get in here as well. I reached out to Grant to have him come in here and listen to this as well. But 100%, I thought Grant would have provided a lot more smart to this as well. But I got Cindy in here. Cindy, I reached out to Cindy. Cindy is the top, one of the top luxury builders in the country, and a top female luxury builder in the country. So, Cindy and me, Attorney Turk.
Yeah, that's my attorney. That's my claim to fame. That's it. It's going on my headstone.
Yeah.
All right. So I know it's
Listen,
going to be
I
interesting.
hear you. I hear you went some rounds in here. Good luck to you. We all do it
Yeah.
every single night. How's that? Would you like to be us?
Yeah, seriously. Like
So
I
you
feel
you
like
you took
I
the
feel
beat down.
I feel like I was saying I was playing softball and now I'm in a boxing ring, but I liked it. So I'll have to do it again.
That's not true. You're gonna hang up and you're gonna roll your eyes and go, "What a bunch of schmigeggies," and move on. It's
No,
okay.
Schmegegis is my favorite word. I had a fish named Schmegegi once, so yeah.
Yeah, well, that's my favorite word when I'm in
He
this room.
fits
How's
right
that?
in.
So
All
thank you
right,
guys
thank
so
you
much.
all. I
Attorney Turk,
appreciate
I
it.
know you need to go. Thank you very much. You were really wonderful. I really appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all on Chatter Social, and I'm going to end the stream right now. And give me 5 stars no matter what. Just kidding, Attorney Turk. Woo! I sweated a lot during this. Thank you so much. I really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.